Hajime to everybody. Thank you for coming back. My name is Cinta. I'm just saying hello in Japanese. How are you? I just need to remind people, hey, the reason why I need to say this. I don't know how many times I need to tell people, but there is a video of me describing this. I am injured. Hey, I have a permanent injury in my leg, which is quite a marvelous piece of metal. It's a 17-inch piece of metal in my leg with nails, okay, which is not easy, meaning I had to learn to teach myself how to walk again, and to use a cane, and to use a wheelchair, and to use a walker. I mean, I went through the whole process to learn how to even stand. Standing for me was a remarkable move, because I wasn't able to do it for like a year, you know. So this became a thing, and when this injury happened, COVID hit, where COVID was around. Luckily, I did not have COVID at the time that I had to go into the operation, or else they would not have taken me. And I had an operation during COVID. Luckily, it was during COVID because everything else was closed and shut down, right? So the reason why I wear the waist trainer is because I cannot get my waist or my body back to the way it used to. Not even the amount of exercise that I'm capable of doing now will ever be able to make this a thing. I can't. I've tried. I go between like losing weight, and then when I overstrain my leg, I gain it back again. So it's a new experience for me because I've never had such an injury before. And you know, I think I'm 44 years old. I have said this on my live. I've spoken about this before. So you're not looking at a 23-year-old young person. I've graduated college, I've graduated high school, I've graduated junior high. I've gone through all these processes. I've lived in 5 different countries. And I'm like settling down in my life. And my jobs were in many different fields. And there was never a job where I could focus on all my skills in one space, which is why I thought maybe starting a business or a company would make the most amount of sense for me. And because I lived in so many different countries, I would have to, like, my jobs were not in one place and then I'd grow in a business or a company. I had to leave the job to move to a different country if I wanted to leave the country. And then I'd have to find a new job and start all over again. So I thought, well, that's not an option anymore. And the internet came about, and I was like, well, YouTube might be an interesting thing. So this is why I'm doing the YouTube channel, because this is my time to open up that door and show people that you can start a business from ground zero. And you just need to have the stamina and the capabilities to put your mind to it to make it happen. I built this section, well, let me show you the other side. So between the two spaces that I have, it's taken me about, 10 years to really put this together. So even if I was working in different jobs, I would be making clothing. Like, for instance, while I was doing the music, teaching the music, I was making stuff. Then I created that little space, which helped me open up the door for Poshmark, right? So now I have all these little mannequins. There's another one at the top over there. I don't know if you can see it. I have 2 mannequins. The 2 mannequins that I have 3 actually. The 2 mannequins that I have, I brought back from South Africa. The third one that I have is actually just it's just a piece of plastic. It's a solid piece of plastic. The initial plan for the third mannequin was to make another mannequin. So I used that mannequin to create like a mold, a cast. This is not complete, but this is a solid piece of, okay, it's not finished. I'm going to do a male torso out of this. It's not complete. It's nowhere near complete. I have to do the front. I don't want to destroy it. So this will have to be reworked. Now I have plans. I have plans for the sculptural element of a project here that needs to be finished if I'm going to do a male torso, and then I'll probably cover it in fabric or something. I'll figure it out later. So that's the art side. Okay, now I would not have been able to figure out how to make mannequins if I hadn't worked in the art world, and I have had displays of my own mannequins that I've kind of used for exhibitions in the past. And my background, I've had exhibitions, I've been in articles, I've had discussions, I've been on television. You know, people here in the States might not know about this, or overseas, because each country has their own little world. Like most of the articles that were written up were in South Africa, not necessarily in the States, for projects that I've done in the past. Okay, the Smithsonian one is in the United States, so that's kind of a cool situation. But everything it takes time to build up vision. Like, it didn't just pop out of nowhere where I just kind of said, okay, I want like equipment, and then asked my parents for money, because that's not how it's done when you're older. You have to make the money yourself. So this is also a lesson for those who are learning to become independent. Okay, independence comes with growing, and growing pains come with understanding how money works. And when you understand how money works, then things start to manifest. But you become very careful with how you spend your money. That's how it is. And I can dress the way I want to, because I'm no longer working in an office space, which I didn't like. I'm allowed to be an artist. And Poshmark doesn't say you are not allowed to wear a waist trainer because you are working in. No, this is my office. My office is here. This is my office. I can jump between spaces. I use the other room for my photographs, so I take my own photographs. This is how I want my business to run. And I've had over 400 items sell on Poshmark, meaning I sort of know what I'm doing. And these photographs you see over here, right? Let me just link into one. Let's look at this, for example. I take my own photographs, folks. Oops, okay. So these photographs are done in the other side of the room, okay? So I'm now using my photography skills for Poshmark, which is good because this is sales, right? So I'm selling items, so my photography doesn't go to waste. And in theory, I'm just building up my business. I mean, it's just how I'm doing it now. I am creating my own job. I broke my leg. I can no longer do normal jobs where people can stand all day and work as a waitress and wait on people, or work in a retail store. I prefer having all my stuff in my space, because I know when I work with people, things do go missing. I've worked in studio spaces where people have complained about equipment disappearing too. And I just know how it goes. So it's always safer to build up the business yourself. I've created my own websites. I have done my own paintings. I do everything on my own. I don't have a team. I am the team. And in order for me to not have a team, I have to know what I'm doing. I might not necessarily play the guitar fantastically, but I have a guitar. So if one day I have a musician coming in and saying, hey, I need a guitar to work on something, I'm actually trying out. Let me show you what I'm testing out. I don't play the guitar. So I can't do chords. Okay, so I know that these are half notes. Okay. So I can do scales. But but I can't play it like consecutively on. Okay, so for me, guitar is like that beginner's instrument. I even have a ukulele because I realized that the guitar was too big for me. I just have small hands, and why I'm not doing concert piano performances is because my hands are too small. People say, oh, it's not about the hand size. I'm like, I don't know. I think that the hand size has everything to do with how you position your hand on an instrument. So, you know, I think it's a beautiful instrument. I'm glad that I have it because now I have this beautiful Yamaha from Guitar Center. Thanks to Guitar Center. This is like my goodbye present, right? It's dusty. I need to clean it. But there was a crack when they had given it to me, so I had to get the crack repaired and put a bridge. This bridge wasn't there, so because it snapped, the bridge was not terrible, and then I had somebody at Guitar Center put the bridge on there, which is cool, and it seemed to have worked, so that was beautifully done. It sounds fine. I don't use it too much, so it's not like I call this my introduction guitar, right? But it's a beautiful guitar. Because of that factor that it was too, because I found that that was too big for me. Okay, even though it's a beautiful guitar, I got something smaller. And then this, yeah, so this is an electric ukulele, okay? Okay, so I'm not a player of these, but I do know that you can use there. Everybody said you need to work on like learning how to play this, but I've always had my focus on drums. Now the drums, unfortunately, I haven't been able to have because it's just a big instrument and you probably do need a basement to own it. So these become practical instruments because if you don't have a huge space, you got guitars, you can get the amps, 2 amps. Actually I have 3. This is just a small one. I'll show you what I have connected to. So that the very same one that the very same speaker. So it could be used as a speaker or an amp, which is fantastic, okay? So this is actually perfect. It's ideal for everything. Okay, so this becomes useful for portability on so many levels. It's unbelievable. I'm so grateful that I have all this equipment because now I can just put it together. So yeah, this is Guitar Center, okay? And then Bach to Rock. This just shows you that I also worked at Bach to Rock, okay? This was the t-shirt we had to wear. Like from wearing uniform versus staff, you see staff. So wearing a uniform to not wearing a uniform was like my thing. Cool. So I have those to prove that I have been a teacher in both locations. Can't say I was the most fantastic on these, but I have some beautiful instruments that came out of my experience. So I'm grateful for everything that I have here, make no mistake. I'm just building up a business on my own because I feel as if A, I'm a woman, so I have to feel secure, and B, I feel like the industry doesn't take women as serious. When you do like production, I'm going to just play this again. Okay. For my live, I was just playing some background music. For people that were asking me some very strange questions like, why are you wearing this? I was like, I'm allowed to wear what I want to. First of all, I'm injured, so I think I have a right to choose how I kind of put myself together. And it's not just like a broken finger. I have broken fingers, and I'm not complaining about my broken fingers. It hasn't stopped me from playing an instrument, but a broken leg you cannot exercise the way you used to, okay? That I know for a fact. And now that I've started all these other projects, it's not as easy. What I am gonna do is, I'll just show you what I did the other day. I'm gonna work on Ghostbusters. that's what I've been up to. So it's a little bit of a short video. I want to, let me just play a little bit of this. I like this. I particularly like this song. This was done 12 years ago. Okay. So you guys can hear a completed piece. Like you guys are watching me. You guys are watching me create a piece, but these are completed pieces that I have already on SoundCloud, okay? I haven't built it up because I have all these other things that I was trying to do at the same time. So, but can I upload? Yes. Can I record? Yes. Can I produce? Yes. Can I put different sounds together? Absolutely. And so can you. You can do the same thing if you are interested. If you're not interested in the music side, join me for the art side. I will be doing demonstrations on making paintings. I will be doing demonstrations like I did the other day on sewing something. You know, the space is open for suggestions, and I don't. When I create a space, you're watching me build up a space. When I create a space, like I said, go back to this whole thing. That's all sewing that I've done over there. All that stuff that you see on the hangers, that's like my sample rack, right? That's my sample rack. Okay, minus the kimono in the back. But that's my sample rack. So I have samples of pieces that I've worked on in fashion, in wearable arts. And it sort of kickstarted me having supplies to sell on Poshmark. So that helped as well. And yeah, it's a business I'm starting. I'm not coming from an unexperienced background. I'm coming from a very experienced background with lots of education on a few different fields. And I don't want to be a doctor or a nurse because I'm afraid of needles. I don't like needles. I mean, I have tattoos, but I don't have to do it for somebody, you know, it's the other stuff. So that's, you know, so I built this up. I'm not finished building it up. I'd like to build some more. And I'd like to have YouTube as my extension of the business. And that is why I'm doing the channel, because this will be the extension. This is the extension of what I'm doing. This is my extension. YouTube is now the extension to the world and sharing what I'm able to do to everybody else. And here's a painting. So there's a painting of the car. What I've done is I've taken a board out and I'm using like a print that was not needed. I didn't want the print, but I wanted the board, and I love this frame. So I'm in the process of working on this painting. What I should do is probably continue with this painting and you guys can watch me do it. So maybe that comes tomorrow. So what's happening now, so I've literally used the entire space to create my business. It might be like an apartment, but it really doesn't say that you can't use every corner of the apartment as another section of the business. So I have a strategic like format, and I was just showing this. I was in the process of making a male torso because I cannot find, it's not done yet, but this is paper mache. You can see that this is it's not quite finished or complete, but it's a solid piece, and this will be worked on next. So I have projects in the works. I don't, you know, I'm not the person to say, oh, I have an idea. It's just everything works differently at certain times, okay? So I might be doing music here, okay, at the beginning, but at the same time, I know that people are far more interested, perhaps even watching me like finish up the car painting. So I might consider doing that next, you know? So I'm jumping from project to project because when I jump from project to project, each part of my vision interlocks and it finishes up one corner of my kind of space. I'm not a person to waste materials or supplies. I try to use everything that I have to make it work. I don't have money to spend like that, so being an artist becomes useful for that purpose. Not everybody's gonna have a fortune of money to spend to drop on supplies. But as you can see, I'm building it up one piece at a time. And if I was at my parents' house, I probably wouldn't have this accessibility for YouTube, because South Africa right now, the electricity is off and on. So it's a hard time kind of putting things up from there on the internet, whether it's Facebook, or Poshmark doesn't exist in South Africa, or even YouTube. They might have YouTube there, but it's not, yeah. Oh, and South African artist, Tyla. She's now making headway. She comes from my mom's community, which is the mixed community in South Africa, which is cool. I don't know if she knows anybody my family knows. Well, my sister probably even knows her. I wouldn't be surprised. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about the diversity of skills. You don't have to, like, I'm not going to just focus solely on production, because I know that there are people that are not interested in producing or playing music, but they might have skills in other areas, and they might be interested to see the crafty side of things. So tomorrow might be just an art day where I'm just sitting and painting, for instance, because I haven't finished that painting, and I feel as if that painting deserves some time, you know? I feel like I need to give that art piece some time. And then Ghostbusters is out, so I'm busy working on, can't play it because it will get flagged for being copyright. When I'm playing by ear, I have to have the song playing on like YouTube, which is what I've told students before, is if you're learning a piece, use the piece on YouTube. I can't post it. I can't do that on here, unfortunately, because this is YouTube, and they're gonna be like, oh, well, you know, like, but when you're teaching a class, for instance, and you're doing music, I would recommend using the song and taking it apart. If you don't have the music, for instance, and if you are looking for the music, you probably will have to pay to download, depending on what song it is. Classical music, some of the times you don't need to, because you can get free classical music online, which just happens to be the case because it's over 100 years old, and that's just how it's done. But something like Ghostbusters, I'm sure, would be that you would have to buy the song, and then you would have to learn it, and then, or if you don't want to do that, you go to YouTube, go onto YouTube, and then you'd practice it like I was doing, practice it from the original piece, and then take it apart and put it back together again. So that is my plan for the music. I want to finish the track that I've been producing as well. But I also want to show that you don't have to have one skill and just focus on that one thing. I think it's important to, and not everybody's like me, I know, and not every parent is like me, because I'm not a parent. I'm a parent to fur babies, so I think differently than parents. I don't have to worry about picking up kids from school. I don't have to worry about paying for their high school courses or whatever, or babysitting, because it's just different for us. We don't have the kids. So my lifestyle depends on growing like business-like kind of situation, because this is what I've chosen to do. So I just thought I would bring that up. I think it's important for people to see me from a different perspective. Like you can see how it all connects in my space. My space is the office, and that's basically it. So I'll leave you guys, love you, and leave you guys here. And Jenna, bye-bye, which means just thank you, and have a wonderful day, and then see you later. And this space, I hope I can use this particular setup now that I've changed the background for my Poshmark live shows. On Whatnot, people were complaining about the music equipment and not having the clothing on there, which I thought was kind of weird. I was like, I can put a rack on the side. You don't have to see everything that I sell. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just do Poshmark, and everybody seems fine with me just talking, and I can display my pieces up if I want to and put them on a rack if I need to. But yeah, so it just depends. It all depends on the situation. And that's how you build a business up, guys. I don't think, I don't have parents here. I don't have my parents helping me. My husband is the only person that's here to support me. So that's how it goes, and he seems fine with it. So, yeah. Anyway, I know that this was just a talk day, and the capabilities and why this, that, and the other. And then, just to broaden the spectrum of just doing music. I think not everybody is interested in just music, so I have to branch out. I can see that this is the case. And I'm not going to just hone in on one particular skill. I don't think that's how life works. So I'm here and I should enjoy my space, and that's just how that's how I'm doing it. Arigato gozaimasu, matachi sayonara, and Geneva. Thank you again.